first coming in last. Went to the bank, happy alive. Nigga fuck love, rather by rap. Nigga fuck love, rather by rap.
Episode 71 of Woodcrest Certified, welcoming Steven, Big Steve.
Why are you screaming?
Because I'm excited to see my dog, bro. We haven't had him on here since like episode 5.
Since the drive, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, that's right.
I came in, did that, and then
Well, welcome back, Steven. Happy to have you. A lot has happened since the last episode, so we're just gonna cut into it. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you guys want us to talk about anything specifically. All right. Let's just get it out the way now. The Milwaukee Bucks fucking trash. Absolutely got slaughtered by the Heat. So David wasn't in the last episode to talk shit. David's obviously here, so this ought to be fun. But the playoffs in general has been pretty fun-ish, depending on what fan base you root for. The first round, though, was kind of sick. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, like
have your moment,
the
bro.
nigga stayed quiet, and this is moment to shine. Like,
No, I told you I was going to keep it classy. Now, man of my word. So, GG's, bro. Better luck next year.
Thanks,
Fuck
man.
the Bucks. Man, locked that shit up in the fourth quarter. Back wasn't hurting that bad. He went for 38 and 20, but it wasn't a failure. It's steps to success. That's all I got for you, bro.
that's so petty.
This man Dave is annoying, but at least he's not like berating the Bucks right now, which is kind of crazy. I honestly
I don't have
kind
to,
of
bro. Jimmy
expected
did all
it.
the berating that was even necessary, bro.
Bro, all right.
56,
I
and
do
then
want to talk
42.
about that. I do want to talk about that.
Gee,
Not
Woodcrest,
Jimmy
man.
Butler specifically, but it's like, bro, the Miami Heat played out of their fucking minds. Like, I read going into Game 5, they were shooting 45% from contested 3-point shots. Like, how you supposed to beat that?
You're supposed to score more points than that, bro, but y'all couldn't.
We tried.
I felt like in Game 5, Chris Middleton was going crazy, bro. But then the quarter turned to the fourth, and he was a no-show, bro. He
Well,
called out work or something.
that was the entire Bucks. The entire Bucks in the fourth were just fucking
I
basuda.
know. It's crazy. Like, it's like the Miami Heat were just like, all right, let's play for real. And then that 15-point lead that y'all had with 6 minutes left, just
Yeah.
I read some shit. This is kind of random. I don't know how much more Bucks bashing needs to be done, but I read somewhere that Austin Reeves is who Tyler Hero wishes he was.
nah.
I'm like, yeah.
I don't got nothing to do with the Bucks, but I feel you.
Yeah, but in the series, because like people were talking about that. Well, I mean, you too. Y'all were talking about how it's gonna be tough without Hero, but I feel like every year in the playoffs, y'all talk about how ass Hero is. So like, really, you kind of just.
I mean, he was playing well when he got hurt, bro. So I expected him to continue to play well.
Yeah,
he's an idiot. He shouldn't have dove for that ball. He had no chance.
I also expected the Bucks
whatever.
to win, but here we are.
I don't know why you're expecting that, bro.
That's funny.
Bro, like y'all was fucking last in scoring, 26 in fucking 3-point shooting,
Yep.
terrible in fucking half-court offense, and then bam, playoff start, and like Jimmy was just another fucking
Number 22,
human.
bro.
Bro, Jimmy Butler is insane. So dude's fucking crazy. So there's that. But outside of that is like, I mean, it doesn't help that Giannis was out for fucking 3 games. So like that obviously in itself is a fucking problem. But nonetheless, it's like, what are you supposed to do when they're just shooting like they were shooting like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever the fuck it was, for the first time all year?
I mean, the Bucks had double-digit leads in the fourth quarters of Game 4 and 5, bro. Like,
Well,
I hate
yeah,
to break it to you, bro, but they choked. That was a major choke job.
I blame Coach Bud, but that's neither here nor there. Like,
freaking Grayson Allen doing a Euro step with the time expiring, and he fucking bricks
bro,
that
as
layup,
soon
bro. Like,
as
that
soon
shit's
as the
crazy.
ball hit Grayson Allen's hands, like, you got to call a timeout. Like you see fucking Giannis got held up. Then Middleton got held up. He threw it to Grayson, and then that's when you call timeout, bro.
Grayson, he with us, bro. He had money on the Heat. His FanDuel account is going crazy right now.
Anyway, and with that though, should be some changes. We'll see what. I don't.
Who
really
you
know
rooting for in the East now, Anthony?
In the East?
Yeah.
Nobody. In the West, though, you feel me?
And you like the Warriors and the Nuggets?
Nah, I mostly
That's
did this.
Crazy. It's gonna be crazy when the Lakers eliminate both of them.
Nah, I only wore this jersey for comedic effect, but I am back on that Warriors shit though. Steph Curry's crazy. Warriors and
are you a fan of both? Like, and you a Knicks fan? You know what you are? You like all the obnoxious. Yes, nigga, the nigga with that. You all of us. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. You are a fan of all the most obnoxious teams.
No, I'm not a Knicks fan, bro. You know what's crazy? The year I don't make the bet on the Knicks, they do better than Atlanta. I did it back-to-back years, and I lost one year. The year before, they tied. But the year I don't do it, fucking the Knicks get further than Atlanta. I was only rooting for Atlanta for financial reasons. I'm sorry, rooting for New York for financial reasons. I had money on them.
The reason the financial thing happened was because you were talking big shit about the Knicks.
That is true.
And well, you guys were talking big shit about the Hawks. So
nah, nigga, like I just was like, yo, the Hawks are really, really good. And then you're like, no, they're not, because that's what the fuck you do for whatever reason. I'm still trying to figure that out. I still got a chalkboard trying to like figure out why you do that shit. And then you throw the Knicks in there not out of randomness, but because you felt like Kyrie and Kevin Durant were gonna go. They didn't go. And then you're like, oh, they got Julius Randle and Ty Gibson, so they're gonna be really good. And Alfred Payton, they're gonna be really good. And then you rode on that fucking train for like 2.5 years.
Because I had money on them, bro. Don't you understand?
You're more loyal to the Knicks than like most Orlando fans are to the Orlando Magic. You know what I mean? You're a Knicks fan, and you're a Lakers.
No, I'm not. I had money on them.
You're a Lakers fan, and
I'm a LeBron fan.
And all those fan bases are obnoxious. Like you guys cover the entire, like the regions. Like the way people feel about the Dallas Cowboys is the way you guys actually are. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way they are. You know what I mean?
You're calling me obnoxious, bro. Do you see how classy I kept it just now with rookie and Milwaukee Bucks?
Because you did one day out of 365 days. We're supposed to give you a fucking crown. We're supposed to be like, wow, David, good job. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying,
not be an obnoxious asshole. Yeah, thanks, Steven. Give this man a round.
Not to mention, you picked the day that we're recording to be classy about it, but like if we could show the fucking group chat or like Twitter, you know what I'm saying? Like,
like when I was 13, once my dad sent me via UPS a pair of ugly ass shoes. And my nigga's never been in my life. And because of those shoes, he felt like he did a good job.
Aww.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, I know. Am I supposed to laugh or like cry with you? Like, I don't know what to do here.
It's like, nigga, what? Like, nigga, those shoes is gonna pick up for everything else.
Hey, Chris been holding that one in for a minute, bro. Yeah. I don't even know how that should apply, but
let it out, sister. Let it out.
Chris, it's his loss, bro. And shout out to your mom, bro. She did her thing.
Yeah. Nah, but like that's really what you're doing right now, bro. Like
that's a wild ass comparison that we can unpack another time. We can do that when we not recording.
All right, kind of moving on, but like one of the cool things that came out of the Bucks' loss, and I say cool loosely, was that Giannis gave like this really cool kind of speech about, you know, failure, and really that quote has saved the Bucks getting just absolutely ripped in the media. So shout out to Giannis, because everyone's been talking about the quote more than like the Bucks being ass for the most part. But yeah, so Eric Name, he's the Bucks lead reporter, And for the second year in a row, I guess. So he asked Giannis, like, "Do you view this season as a failure?" And then you clearly see Giannis get very upset and like ready to talk shit. So then, but he gave a real thoughtful, deep answer, talking about how in sports there is no failure, right? All there is lessons on the steps to success. Like you compared, Michael Jordan, who played for 15 years, and he has 6 championships. So he's like, are the other 9 seasons failures then? And he's like, no, right? There's steps to get there. And he compared it to Eric. He was like, you go for a promotion, you didn't get it. Are you a failure, right? Do you put food on the table for your family, take care of your family, this, and this? Yes. So then, are you a failure for not getting that? And he was like, no. And Chris, and that started a whole thing all over the internet. So shout out to Giannis for that. Chris, you had something you wanted to talk about that, or something you wanted to ask about that?
So I've always had a problem with like the typical fans, because I feel like the way Eric, whatever the fuck, phrased it is the way that, or how he insinuated it was how most sports fans view sports. I think of college football, especially, where there's, I don't know, 250 teams. And when you look at like historically, like you don't even have a chance to win unless your recruiting cycle is up to a certain par. So out of those 250 teams, there's really only like 6, 7 that even have a chance to win a championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the way people view it, it's like, okay, so there's that one team that won a championship. There's the 6 others that had a chance maybe to win a championship. They didn't win it. And then everybody else is just everybody else. And it's like you're saying all of those people are a fucking failure, and there was just one person who had a successful season. And I'm glad Giannis put it the way that he did, because I always felt like that. Like everybody's like in a different phase. And to just feel like you have to win a championship or you wasted your time is a really stupid way to not just approach sports, but like this guy said, life in general.
But y'all seen Shaq response? I'm kind of on the other end of that. Like, why is failure so taboo? Sometimes you gotta fail to understand where you need to correct yourself to win. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's only one team that can win the championship, but you fail, so the next year you realize where you fucked up at to get to the winning position, right? Like, it has to be somewhere you're reaching, or else everybody was just free for all that shit and not want to do anything or give a fuck, play too lazy. So it has to be that championship, and one person has to win, but it's okay to fail sometimes to get to that winning position. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but then did you hear Charles Barkley's response too to that, which I thought was really insightful too? Where Charles, he played for, what was it, 14 years? I don't know how many years he played, but he played for a long time, and he never won a championship. But like he said that he obviously would have loved to win one, but he's not going to view his career as a failure. I mean, he made millions of dollars just playing, and then for how funny and idiotic some of the things he says, right? He is uber successful, right, in business, and like he's on TV all the time. He's got all these deals and whatnot, and that stems from his playing career,
yeah,
right?
but
So
he won in other aspects and lost to ever get a championship. He still failed in that aspect.
yeah, but I'm
But
saying,
like,
go ahead.
yeah, go.
No, I
When
was gonna say,
okay.
David, you got it. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that the way that the
Yes.
question was phrased is, "Oh, do you view the season as a failure?" My thought process is like that's like an oversimplification, and it's different for each team. Like for example, like the Kings, I don't think their season was a failure, but they didn't win it all. OKC, I don't think their season was a failure. They didn't win. Even the Knicks, we were talking about them, but I guess it's just relative, depending on what expectations are upon you. Because, like Chris said, everybody's in a different phase, and obviously, the Bucks were looked at as title contenders, strong title contenders at that.
That's what I was gonna
So,
say.
in the aspect
The
of
favorites.
reaching expectations or meeting or exceeding them, like yeah, they came up short. So in that aspect, like they failed, but like along the way, they probably picked up on some things or learned some things that they could use in the future to better their chances. And they probably learned lessons in that ass whooping that they took. It's gonna propel them forward for the seasons to come.
So I feel like I had different versions of the same conversation when Kevin Durant went to the Warriors, right? And I feel like this ring or bust culture that was stemmed from, I think it was Michael Jordan who created this culture. Yeah, like since that culture basically said that you're not successful if you don't win, whatever amount of championships, this nigga Durant felt like he had to go to the Warriors. But my whole thing is like, what do the championships on the Warriors even mean? It's like you look at somebody like Damian Lillard, and this nigga carried his team to the Western Conference Championship, right? His second best player is CJ. CJ's incredible. But like CJ's what? Like maybe a top 35 guy. Undersized, can't guard nobody. And then after that, like, who was the third best guy? You know what I mean? Like Robert Covington. You know what I mean? Like they didn't even have their center, Nurk, at the time.
Yeah.
Like what they accomplished to me was incredible. But whenever we talk about Dame, the only connotation that we use was that he didn't win a ring. That's the only thing that matters. But then we swap back to Durant. And Durant did win the ring. He won 2 of them bitches and won 2 finals MVPs. What does that mean? You were on a fucking team that was probably going to win it anyways. But in the history books, when we go back, we're going to be like, he was a champion. And I find that to be so strange, where there's no scope in success. It's just like, I guess it goes back to the conversation that we were having last week, where it's like, you're successful if you have a nice car. You're successful if you have a big house. You're successful if your wife's titties are big enough, right? Like, that's what success means, right? But, like, there's no scope to it. It's like, this guy's living, like, you come from, like, there's this guy who started off in privilege and ended off in privilege. And you look at him and he's living a nice life. He did a little bit better than his parents. That's great. But then you have the guy who's just in the middle class and he started from nothing. And this is not a contest, obviously. But if you were to scope the 2 situations, the guy in the middle class, I feel like, did significantly better than the guy living in the mansion. Nigga, you grew up in a mansion. Going back to sports related, using the same logic, it's like, yeah, you jumped on a team, you won a championship, but it's like, you guys were going to win a championship anyways.
I don't. Well, are you sure though? Because the Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant Thunder were up 3-1 on those Warriors that you assume were going to win the championship. Before Kevin Durant went to Golden State, the previous season the Thunder were up 3-1, and then they blew it.
And lost.
So like, I don't think saying that the Warriors are going to win it anyway. I'm not with you on that. But
so like when you look at Kevin Durant's legacy. Because, like, right now it's hard to because he's still playing. I mean, I guess that's relative because the nigga's out half the time. But when you look at his legacy, and we're going to call him a champion, like, what does that mean? Does that mean he just fucking, like, what does it even mean? You know what I'm saying?
That he was on the team that was the last team standing 2 years.
Just fucking won. I don't know, like, to me, it's almost like the term champion is becoming like just this empty term that needs to be filled on your resume. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a certification that's required in order to get the blue check mark on Twitter. Like, it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's tough in itself too, because by that definition, let's just say, like, a motherfucker that barely want to do anything with life, at least I went to work 20 hours a week and I got a little paycheck. I'm successful in my eye. It has to be a barometer somewhere for success. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's going to look different, obviously, for so many different situations, but sports is a little easier to measure because it's an end game. You don't just go in there like LA Fitness and you play pickup games until you feel like not playing pickup games. You get what I'm saying? Like, so it has to. I don't think Giannis would say some shit like this because they was favored to win, right? I don't think he'll say some shit like this if they won. He would be like, "Yeah, we whooped their ass and on to the next." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's almost like I felt like he was trying to soften up the blow of losing in a way. Even though that speech was immaculate, like that shit was amazing, but you lost, nigga. Like, and
Yeah.
He
it's
did.
cool. It's
He
okay
did.
to lose sometimes. It's not a bad thing.
Like I remember, the thing is, like it's crazy because I don't think we're saying different things, but where we disagree is that the losing is a bad thing. So the reason LeBron went to Miami was for the same thing. LeBron was carrying his team, like his second best player was Delonte West, which is insane. like I don't even
And
want to talk shit on Delonte West, but I got pictures of him hanging out in front of a gas station, like he's
That's
like,
crazy.
you know what I
and
mean? Like,
he had
I
to
don't
deal
want to talk
with the
shit
big
about
three
him. I'm gonna talk shit
Celtics
about him.
too.
huh?
LeBron, before he went to Miami, he was dealing with the big three Celtics too. That just in
Celtics, the
2009 or
Pistons,
oh
like
eight, oh nine, they went to back-to-back finals.
the
Was right? Yeah.
Celtics, the Pistons, like fuck the fact that this nigga was there by himself, but he also had these tremendous obstacles to hop over. But when we looked at LeBron at that time, and I'm saying we like very relatively, like the media would look at this guy like I was having this argument with Austin when Austin was like, yeah, the Cavs were the number one seed and they were the favorites. And I'm like, yeah, but that's fucking nonsense. Nobody with a brain, like looking back, nobody with a brain expected Delonte West as your number two to take you to the championship, right? Like there's no fucking way. There's no way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, it was, well, LeBron is supposedly the next great guy, so he needs to be winning championships. He dealt with that for so many years, and then what the fuck happened? He got tired of carrying Cleveland, and he took his ass to Miami, where the situation was a lot easier, right? And again, I'm not shitting on him for that decision, right? He probably made that decision for several reasons, right? There's a guy, Pat Riley, there who's going to help him build the team versus in Cleveland where he wasn't getting any help at all, right? But at the same time, I feel like a huge influence on that decision was that he was being viewed as a failure for not winning a championship, even when you look back on it, and winning a championship was just unrealistic with the team that he was on. You know what I mean? Like, it's this strange dynamic in sports where, like, context doesn't matter. You need to have that ring. Even if you have to force yourself to go to the best team, or if, as an old guy, you're just riding the bench on a good team that was going to win a championship anyway, like, you need to finish your career with that championship in order to, I don't know, dignify your career, which I find to be corny. Like that's a corny way to view fucking sports, bro. Like that's a corny way to look at anything to me.
Yeah. With the failure side of things too, I mean, like, you know, from I feel like what Giannis is pretty much saying on his side of things too is like they busted their ass, right? It's not like they fucking they were playing hard. They played to the best of their ability for the most part. Like, granted, they had some fuck ups, but it's not like they weren't trying like that. I think, and Kobe mentioned it too, because the interview surfaced of Kobe talking about failure too. It's like really the only real failure you could have is if you're not putting in the work every day in order to try to strive to reach success, right? And if you're not learning from, downfalls and shit. And like I think one of the biggest things, like Giannis was saying, where the Bucks were playing for a championship and the Heat were playing to win this series. So like they were getting ahead of themselves, right? And trying and like not focusing on the present type of moment thing. So then that's a lesson to take on from there, and then also be willing to make adjustments during the games or fucking from game to game, like put somebody else on fucking Jimmy Butler. But that's neither here nor there. Um, but then that goes to the real life side of things, right? It's like really the only failures if you go in every day and you're not putting in the work. Like if you're trying to get a promotion and you come in every day and you put in the work that you're supposed to, like you're hitting or exceeding goals, whatever it may be, and then if you don't get it, then it is what it is. But you're taking care of your family, you're taking care of what you can't control, of your controllables that way too.
So like I think us being in sales, and now this nigga David should be able to relate too.
Off to a rough start, bro.
Be like
Everybody's
that, bro.
talk
Yeah.
about nigga. I mean, that's just what it is. Well, we can talk about that. like, it's very relatable to us because, like, you don't always get to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? There's times where I fuck around and I end up just tripping over deals, and there's times where I bust my ass and I feel like I did nothing, right? Not, it's not, your hard work isn't always gonna show the same results, is what I'm saying. Obviously, things kind of tend to work out. If you're going to bust your ass for 29, 30, 31 days in a row, your numbers are going to look significantly better than the guy who was fucking around for 30 days in a row, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the laws of averages. But there's times where you're going to put in a bunch of work and your paycheck is going to look like this. And then there's times you're going to put in that same amount of work and your paycheck might not look just as great. But what I always tell people, because it's easy to black yourself out when you're like, I'm going to sell this many cars today. And then you talk to 3 people and you strike out all 3 times. And it's like, fuck, I didn't accomplish my goal. My thing is, you came in with that mentality. Did you do what you were supposed to do? Right? Did you take care of your task? Did you give this person excellent customer service? Did you go through the step from A to Z the way that you're supposed to? Maybe the person wasn't ready to buy, whatever the case might be. Did you do what you were supposed to do? And I feel like at the end of the day, that's what matters. You know what I mean?
I feel like you're talking about 2 different things at that point, because if you've been busting your ass all year, 9 out of 10 times, that shit is going to show that you was busting your ass. If you, let's say you in sales, because I was in sales too for a long time before the pandemic when I moved to South Florida. If at the end of the year, I total only 10K, regardless if I could have been delusional thinking I was busting my ass. If I only made 10K, nigga, I was not doing shit at all. Like, but if I made 100K at the end of the year, nigga, I succeeded because I was working hard and I did what I was supposed to do and got to the point. The day by day, yeah, you're not gonna always. That's where luck come into play. Preparation met opportunity, and then you succeeded at the end. But it has to be a barometer to success, or we're gonna go back to that everybody get a gold star type mentality, right?
So I'll use myself as an example. Last April, I sold 28 cars.
Sheesh.
Damn, that's like one every day. That's
Yeah,
good. That's good, right?
I fucking murdered it. I was in, yeah, it was insane.
Nice. High five.
Yeah, thanks, man. So my goal this year, was to beat my numbers from last month. And I'm telling you what, I didn't come close. I sold fucking 19 this month, right? And I'm not mad. My goal was to sell 30. I didn't sell 30. I didn't even get close.
Yeah, but your end goal is your totality of the year. You can't just, you know what I'm saying? It's not just gonna be that month. Like,
I mean, but that's what I'm using, though. But that's what I'm using. That's the barometer that I'm using. I'm saying that I wanted to beat last year's month. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do better than I did last month, and I couldn't do it.
Let me ask you a question right quick. Do you, with only selling 19 cars, would you say you failed that month?
Absolutely not. That's the point that I'm making.
Right. Yeah.
I absolutely don't feel like I failed. I'm looking back, like, 'cause that's what I do. I end up looking back at, like, okay, like, maybe there was a day or two where I wasn't feeling it the way that I'm supposed to. But I'm telling you, like, I gave 99% to 100 almost every single day. I did what I was supposed to do. I stayed late when I had to. I came in early when I had to. And the result wasn't the 30 cars that I wanted, but I did what I was supposed to do. And I'm happy with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not disappointed in myself at all.
No, absolutely. I mean, 19 cars, one almost every 2 days. Like, that's great work, right? And so when it came to your effort level, that's your success, right? That's how you measure your success, right? And so I think that's what Giannis is getting to, right? He's talking about, hey, this season, like, look, I'm not measuring it by this championship, right? Because I'm gonna come back next year, and you know what? My goal is exactly the same. I'm gonna try to get that championship, right? And I think that's what we're talking about when it comes to our goals, right? He's not failing because he's going to continually push for that goal, right? When he's taking the effort that he put into things, he's succeeding, right? This is not a failure, right? Just how you sold, 30 cars and then 19 cars, slightly different, but you have that same mindset, right? If you're measuring success in a mindset, you're succeeding, right? I think the difference is that when we look at Shaq, what he was saying, right, is what he said was like, yes, we have, and I actually, that's how I measure my success too, right? Is by my mindset, like what are my goals and what am I working towards? But I think we also have to acknowledge that, like, you know what, I didn't meet my goal, right? I didn't win this championship, so I did fail. But you know what? That's not how I'm going to measure my success in life, right? Because I made a mistake. I messed up. I lost Jimmy Butler, crazy, right? But that's the thing, is that, like, because I really like Giannis's response. But the thing is that I think he should still at least consider that he did fail in an aspect. He didn't fail overall, but at least in an aspect, he didn't make what his goal.
So what's crazy is I don't think they're saying different things,
Mhm.
but I do think that they're arguing on two different points.
Yeah.
Like what Giannis said was, you're supposed to learn your lesson. And again, I'm going to use myself as an example again.
Mhm.
And this is when I do agree with Peterson, because there's times where you're just like, okay, like I think you can fall into a level of complacency where you're just like, I showed up and I did the bare minimum, so
I'm
I'm
good.
successful.
Yeah.
Right. And that, no, because I've been there before as well. I'll say that was my February, right? Where I didn't end up anywhere near where I was supposed to be at. And I look back and I'm like, I wasn't on my game. There was a lot of days where I showed up and I didn't do what I was supposed to do, right? And what both Shaq and Giannis are saying is that Shaq is saying you should embrace that as a failure. You should take that failure and be like, I'm going to learn from this and become better. Giannis is saying it's not a failure for the same reason, because I'm going to embrace that and I'm going to let it make me better.
Yeah. Instead of calling it failures, he's calling them lessons.
Yes.
But the
What
only
if they play the Heat again next year?
Then we'll do. Hopefully, we do the same thing we did last time, where we sweep y'all bitch ass.
But the only difference between Shaq and Giannis, this is why it gets kind of tough. Shaq is speaking in hindsight. His career is over with, so he can measure the success of his career because he can see where it fell for himself. Giannis, let's just say he never goes back to a championship game and all this other. Let's say at a certain point, can we measure success or failure? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, because some people sometimes they will use that as a cop out. Well, I did the best I could and I ain't go nowhere, but I still no nigga, you suck. Like you suck, bro. Like, and it's okay because you didn't do it to become that guy because you didn't want to be that guy, and that's cool if that's what you wanted, but you still failed. You know what I'm saying? Like, failure is not that bad sometimes. Like, sometimes we have to lose in order to understand what winning is. So, and I feel like the only reason, again, it was the immaculate speech that I didn't like the fact that he made that speech then, because I don't think he would have made that same speech when he won that championship that 1 year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, they're also not asking that question about if you you win the championship. No one's gonna ask you, do you view the season as a failure?
Of course, but it's
so, like, what are you saying?
It's easier to create a scenario where you still the winner at the end when you didn't win. Sometimes that's the shit that gets weird, like, or muddy. Like, of course, Giannis is not a fucking failure. The nigga is the Greek freak. They call the nigga. He's a freak of nature. Like, the nigga is nice. Like, but he failed this year. Like, because he literally was clearly supposed to be, or that team was clearly the team that was supposed to win. It's just Miami turned the fuck up. like
so I don't know, because like I keep going back to LeBron, and like I saw LeBron just like I remember seeing LeBron against the Pistons, and I remember seeing LeBron against the Celtics, and then I remember seeing LeBron against the Magic, and he's spazzed. Like, he went fucking on all three of them.
He's the GOAT, bro. Is that a fair comparison though? Like, I don't think it's fair.
Well, all right, so I'm gonna let you explain why it's not fair.
Because you say because it's LeBron fucking James.
Because it's LeBron James. Like,
bro, you're so annoying, dude.
bro, I'm telling you, like,
you got it out your system.
I mean, you're talking about how LeBron had to drag nobodies, whereas Giannis he got some guys.
But let's say
what Chris was saying is that
would have been a failure.
What Chris is saying is that LeBron was fucking spazzing and doing everything he can for them to win. Is what he's saying.
Right, and I'm looking at Giannis' performances and like, are you looking at Giannis' performances this series and you're looking like he disappeared or?
Me, no. I mean, except for the fourth quarter.
You knew he was gonna say that shit, bro. Like,
I don't know.
He didn't disappear. He just had to meet Bam Adebayo in the fourth quarter.
Like, was it a matter of Giannis shrinking to the occasion, or did Jimmy just go fucking Super Saiyan 3? Like, what is it?
Jimmy went Super Saiyan fucking 3.
All right, let's move on to the next thing because David's like really getting on. Like, I'm not even a Bucks fan, but like you can't have a conversation with this guy. Like this nigga, like, I really feel like you could put David Jr. here and the conversation will be like the same.
No, Chris, you gotta know. Anytime you use LeBron James as a comparison with anybody else in the league, you lose David. So you gotta use somebody else.
It's not fair.
I've never seen somebody fanboy this hard, bro. Like,
yeah. I think if you wanted to compare Giannis to somebody, I think you should use.
It's okay. Shut the fuck up. All right, we're good.
Conversation, man. Jesus Christ. Who's talking about LeBron James? We gotta clear it through the experts first. We gotta send it to the club.
Nah, but it's crazy. You're comparing 2023 Giannis, who is a Hall of Famer already, got a ring, been there, done that. You're comparing him to Cleveland LeBron James. Like,
I'm not saying that it's the same thing. I was using it like to apply context. But it's all right. Let's go to the next
one. I gotta get rolling, but I just wanted to stop by, say what's up.
You're leaving?
Yeah, I gotta get rolling.
We were just about to get to your topic.
I know.
You about to roll up?
No, not to roll up. I'll try to be here next week though. Mondays are usually busy, but yeah, I gotta get rolling.
Damn it, Steven.
You finna go skating?
No. I got some stuff I gotta get done.
That was a dad joke.
You gotta go see a chicken about an egg? I feel
Yeah.
Y'all are gross.
Nobody's gonna talk about how this nigga's a ginger?
Why would we talk about someone's appearance, bro?
Yeah,
that's not what we do here.
David, you do that all the time. David, you literally do that all the time.
That's like literally like 50% of your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Talking about people's appearances?
Yeah.
Pigmentations, absolutely.
I think y'all got me mixed up with somebody else.
You called me a bland face. You said that. You said some shit about my eyes and my lips. You fucking weirdo.
He did.
He did.
I told you what. Never mind, bro. I'm not gonna repeat myself, bro.
You're gross. All right, Steven. GG's, bro.
All right, take it easy.
Stay blessed, my boy.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we could maybe focus.
You went from 20% Mormons to 0% Mormons, man.
Why you call that man a ginger for, bro? They got souls.
Who said that they didn't?
Are you saying that that's a negative connotation? I just pointed it out, bro.
Isn't ginger isn't that a slur?
No.
Like the fact that you think it's a slur.
That's not a slur, my boy.
It's
what
not.
was the other thing you thought was a slur?
I think
somebody
Jew.
said.
Yeah, he thought Jew was a slur.
I thought that was a slur too.
Nigga, the term is Jewish, bro.
I think it's because of watching some South Park when I was a child. That's why kids shouldn't be watching South Park.
All right, man. Let's move on to the next topic. We had mentioned this a couple weeks ago, and we haven't gotten to it. So, the Florida concealed carry law. So the new law that they put into effect, and then also talking about the crazy shit in Texas too. But we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so the new Florida concealed carry law is pretty much, from my understanding, I looked at it quick, but help me understand. Is it just y'all can
you get a gun,
shit?
you get a gun, you get a gun, yeah. That's pretty much what it is.
So essentially, what it is that you don't need a permit to have a gun on your person. Still can't show it. It's not like Texas and Virginia where you could just walk into a Walmart with that bitch on your hip. But if a cop finds you somewhere, it has to be a public place. It can't be like a government building or anything like that. I don't think you could have one in a hospital either. But if you're like at the park and you got a strap on your waist, in your waist, not showing, and you get caught with that bitch, you do not need a permit to clear it with the authorities.
Interesting.
But they still run a background check for you to get the gun. That's why when people was freaking out, I was like, criminals still gonna conceal carry without this law being passed.
So
doesn't that depend on where you buy the gun?
That's always been a thing,
I don't know. I feel like you could go to a gun show over there at Silver Spurs Arena and you can buy one from there, and they're not going to check you like that, are they?
Or I can sell mine to you, and there's no background check there either.
Yeah, but that been a thing.
Yeah.
I could have been sold my gun to you.
So my thing is, what's the purpose of this?
Your Second Amendment right, duh.
So my thing is, this goes back to the caricature thing, where mass shootings are one of the biggest problems that we have in this country, right? What was that? Anyways, mass shootings are one of the biggest problems we have in this country, right?
Yeah.
Gun violence, insane. We got 50% of the guns. Our gun violence in comparison to other developed nations, compared to pretty much fucking anybody. You compare us to like Afghanistan and we're up there. Crazy. Like, how does making it easier for people to walk around with guns alleviate the problem? Like, what's the upside to this?
So
hold on. You say it made it easier for people to walk around with guns, or it's easier to conceal the gun?
No, it's easier for you to walk. It's the same thing.
How is it the same thing? The difference now, in order to conceal carry, like when you had a permit to get a gun, right? You had to get a permit to conceal carry. You could have still had your gun, but to hide the motherfucker, you couldn't just walk around and hide your gun without that concealed carry permit. That's what changed.
So somebody who didn't have the concealed carry would be less likely to have it because they don't have the concealed carry, is what I'm saying.
They'll be less likely to carry it in public. Yes.
Right. And if you're less likely to carry it in public, that means you're less likely to shoot somebody. Correct? So if there's more people if it's easier or if there's less consequences to walking around with the gun, that means it's almost guaranteed that gun violence is going to go up. That's just it's just numbers. It's going to go up. So I don't know what the purpose is. Like, I don't understand what the positive upside is to this.
Well, I seen some shit, and this was a while ago, but there's countries overseas where everyone is you're able to walk around with a gun. Like the laws are relatively lax, and there's very low gun violence, and it's because everyone has one. So I think that's maybe what they're going for is if everyone has a piece on them, you're just not going to randomly go up and try shooting up a place when they're probably going to have a gun on them.
I'm going to kill that because the United States literally has 50% of the guns in the world. And that doesn't apply to us at all. We have more guns. For every person in this country, we have 6 guns. And niggas are still running into people's houses. People are still hopping out of their cars and going up to other cars. Because that's really what it is. That's what the argument always is, well, criminals are still going to find a way to find their guns. But that's not that's only a percentage of the gun violence. A lot of gun violence is just niggas getting mad at traffic lights, hopping out, getting into a fight, reaching into the car, shooting a nigga. That's what a lot of gun violence is. You know what I mean?
And suicides too.
Suicides is a huge part of it as well, absolutely.
Yes.
But now we're just making it easier for the niggas to reach into the car and grab the guns. Not just that, but you have to actually take safety training in order to get the permit. The background check just means you haven't done any criminal activity that'll prevent you from getting the gun. But to actually walk around with the gun, you need to take safety training, which I don't know the downside to teaching niggas how to safely fucking carry a gun, like how to clear it, like not to point it at somebody, to just be cognizant about what you're doing with the gun. I don't know how taking that away is a positive thing. Like I don't get it.
But you think why this shit is weird? You think, like you said, the gun violence and traffic. You think that concealed carry is gonna make that go up more?
1,000%. I'm willing to bet you money. It's just numbers. If more people are carrying guns, more people are gonna get shot. It is just guaranteed.
Yeah, but you think like more people is gonna go get guns because they passed this shit?
I think more people that already have guns are more likely to carry it on them. Yes, absolutely.
To bring them outside. Yeah, that make more sense then. Yeah,
right. Like somebody who might have left it at home is now, there's no consequences to carrying it on them. So like maybe it might just be 20% of them that decide, fuck it, I'm gonna put it in my car, I'm gonna put it in my pants, I'm gonna put it in my backpack, whatever the case might be. Out of that 20%, maybe 1% might end up in a situation, you know what I mean? And somebody's gonna end up getting shot, and that's gonna increase the numbers. And like if you're saying, okay, well, that's such a small percentage, and we're gonna sacrifice that small percentage because we're gonna gain A, right? But I don't even see what we're gaining here. I don't.
Chris, but so like to your point where you're saying like a lot of gun violence is like someone mad at a fucking traffic stop or whatever and they shoot him, but like you don't think that the thought process of, oh, this dude might have a gun too because everyone has them is gonna deter person A from bringing out his gun, knowing that person B probably has one with them too?
Niggas absolutely gonna be like, whoever could shoot first.
Absolutely.
Like Wild West.
Like I said, like the United States is so gun heavy, like people are already thinking that already. Like if that was the case, there would never be a break-in. You know what I mean?
Well, I just looked up a stat here for you, and only 23% of burglaries come from people who also have a gun on them.
I don't know what to make of that. What I'm saying is like,
I didn't know either. Like this nigga found the stat and said, "Fuck it." Like,
what are we supposed to do with this information, big dog? Please tell me.
What I'm saying, bro, it's like, let's say that I'm a cat burglar, right? Understanding that
that would be hilarious.
Anyways, understand.
He stole my cat.
What? That's why he laughed. A cat burglar is not a nigga that steals cats.
David, no. David, no.
Imagine Chris.
I can't believe that nigga just confidently said that shit, bro. Like on fucking camera.
This is why everyone shits on Florida education, man.
Yeah. Nah, hell no.
Imagine Chris
I'm educated in Florida, and I'm not this.
David is a conversational terrorist, bro. Like that.
You gotta stop calling me a terrorist, bro.
How the terrorist calling you a terrorist?
It takes one to know one.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is a cat burglar not a person that steals cats? Is that
no, nigga.
Oh shit!
What? No, you actually believe that shit? That wasn't a joke.
A cat burglar is just a petty thief, bro. Like a motherfucker that's bro, this nigga is crazy.
Damn, no, I didn't know that. But if they're just a thief, damn, I feel like the chick from The Office. She's like, why you gotta bring the cats involved?
You really thought this nigga was gonna go around getting the cat?
Bro, if you were a jewelry burglar, I would think you stole jewelry. You know, like
oh my god.
Nobody called. You never heard the term jewelry burglar.
I've never heard cat burglar either, though.
Yeah, because you're ignorant.
Because I'm not a burglar.
Anyways, let's say I'm a regular burglar the fucking uncultured people watching this fucking podcast. We're talking about gun violence in America. And my nigga David's thinking, man, I might have to shoot a nigga if he tries to.
Oh my god.
That's what I'm thinking. Like Chris a cat burglar. Chris gonna steal a kitten. That's crazy.
Oh,
That's crazy.
God. I needed that, boy.
I'm crying, bro.
That nigga made my year. If nothing else good happened this year, bro, this made it. Like that nigga said, Chris stealing. I can see Chris stealing cats for real, cause the nigga ain't shit. But damn,
Out of spite, you know?
My nigga doubled down, bro. That's crazy.
I'm
Holy
sorry, man.
shit, bro.
I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I don't know these terms about criminal activity and
We don't break
stuff.
the law neither, bro. But like, we watch TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway.
I'm sorry.
My dog is right into
cat
the room.
burglar.
Oh,
So-
that's just funny.
If I was a person who broke into people's homes and stole shit, understanding the staggering amount of guns in America, I would never break into somebody's home.
facts.
The fact that homes are still, yo, Rook, are you okay? Are you looking for your cat? What's going on over there?
My dog
my
just
nigga
ran
was-
into the room, bro. I'm trying to help him get out.
The dog burglar. Nah.
Over there, like, yo, like, what's going on with this nigga Rook? Anyways, yeah, like, nobody would get their houses broken into. You know what I mean? But like that, people are still breaking into people's homes.
It's true.
So guns aren't as much of a deterrent as we place them to be.
Yeah, cause a lot of times the other nigga got a gun too, so it's like if I shoot
just
you
think-
first, who cares?
I just think niggas just don't be thinking it through, bro. Like, I just think niggas are stupid. I think that's what it is.
Well, I'll
I
tell
mean-
you what. Sorry, go ahead, Pete.
It's a lot of factors that niggas is stupid, cause a lot of people they steal for many different reasons, but
Like we were talking about on last podcast how somebody that we know was ding dong ditching with a firearm.
yeah.
The
Literally.
fuck?
It was 3 motherfuckers. It was 3, not just 1. 3 motherfuckers. Like,
Them motherfuckers.
So would they actually run, or they would just like ding dong and then be like,
that ding dong, point the gun, ha ha ha, and take off.
Right?
golly, get a hobby, bro.
They clearly didn't think that entire scenario through.
Well,
And I
Chris,
feel like that's what happens in most cases.
sounds like you need to have a conversation with Texas because that law they're trying to push. I don't know if it's like gone through or whatever, but I guess the law being flown out there, waiting for approval or denial, is that they're offering teachers $25,000 a year additional
Dude,
to have a gun in class, to carry a gun.
I think
that's so crazy,
stupid, bro.
Like they can't even break up fights, these teachers, and you want them to stop motherfucking
School
shooters?
All right.
Yo, you want to acknowledge chat? Like they be saying some stuff in there. I don't know if you want to comment.
So-
on what they say.
Like, at least I see what they're trying to do here. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least there's like a goal that they're trying to accomplish. They don't want their guns taken away, but they want mass shootings to end. Obviously, putting guns in the classroom is not the correct answer, and it's probably going to make things worse. But I can at least explain the strategy to somebody. You know what I mean? I'm like,
No.
listen, this is what we're trying to do. When you take away the permits for people carrying guns, I don't even like how do I break that down to somebody else? Like, how do I tell them, hey, this is going to make the world a better place? At best, what you can do is do what Peterson was doing at the beginning and be like, it might not get worse, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe.
That's not what I was doing in the beginning. I was just trying to understand, like, because a lot, you know how people have like selective outrage, or like they hear a piece of information, like with the U.S. Dollar gonna plummet because of fucking Russia and all that shit, and they understand nothing about economics, So
Just
then
at
they
me, bro. Damn.
no. That wasn't even. I wasn't even
Puss
talking.
ass.
But you stupid. But then
Point his ass out.
then they go on the tangent about it, and it's like, bro, you don't even understand how you get paid. Like you told me, buddy, at your job, get paid by a car, and he don't know if he getting paid by certain cars. But then you go speak on economics, like nigga, how the fuck you gonna teach a class on economics when you don't even understand the money that's coming in your bank account? That's weird. That's what I was saying. Some people that would never own a gun ever, like, cause they mortified by guns. Oh my God. It's like, bro, like, what are you talking about, nigga? Like, regardless if they passed the dragon law, my nigga, you wouldn't even consider looking at a gun. Like, that's
like,
what I was.
Maybe I was out of line for saying you, but I think a lot of other
Get in line, buddy.
I think a lot of other people. I don't know.
Hey, your brother said something. He said they won't even let the teachers teach properly, let alone get them a gun. That's crazy. Like, that don't even make no sense either to me.
What if the gun is black?
It's gonna be black.
You can't talk about black people in some of these classes.
What color do you think guns are, David?
Pink.
I think he was trying to reference the like critical race theory stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, if the gun's black, how are you gonna do that in the school when you can't teach black history and stuff? I think that's what he's getting
what
at.
I was putting down. Way to go, Anthony. Pat yourself on the back. That DK hat you got on.
Oh, except that rookie was shitting on you and your team, nigga. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, fuck you, you cat burglar.
I'm a dog person, bro, so not me.
But that teacher with guns, I don't think there's no way you could explain that shit if you went through the public school system, because some of these teachers be hating ass motherfuckers, racist as fuck, weird as shit, dweebs as fuck, and then you gonna get them a gun. Like, and a lot of them, I used to have an art teacher. This nigga in New Beginnings used to get mad and fucking slam dash and throw shit at the students, my nigga. Like, not get that nigga a gun. Hell no. Like, fuck no. That's weird.
You know those videos where you see like students fighting teachers and shit? You think if the teachers start getting swung on, they're gonna
finna blick that nigga up. Like,
we'll see. We'll see, man. I think the biggest issue with the gun shit, because I was also in preparation for this, like I was looking up, what countries have strictest gun laws and how it translates to like gun violence in those countries too, or whatever. And like the biggest thing is that they actually do the mental health examines or tests or whatever in order to decide if you're fit in order to carry a gun. And like, I don't know why we've gone away. Does that not make sense to people? Like to have to do a mental health fucking exam?
That would take a whole episode. There's a lot of factors there. But with the teachers and guns thing, again, I'm not saying I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm also not saying that I agree with it either. But like you were saying, how having people carry more guns, the strategy is that it might result in people less likely to do stupid shit because they're going to assume the next guy has a gun, right? That's what you were just saying like 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
So these mass shooters, they specifically go to places where they can do the most damage. And
like
they know
churches, schools.
They know nobody can defend themselves there. So, like, again, is giving teachers a gun the answer? Probably not. But we might have to have somebody armed in that bitch. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a huge problem that we're kind of just getting used to. And there has to be some solution somewhere.
Yeah, put them sorry ass cops that be giving tickets in the school. Like, fuck.
They've been cutting SROs. The school resource officers.
You said cutting them?
Like they cut the funding or whatever, like school, like budget cuts come down, so the school's like, well, we can't afford this, or some shit, like either it's with the school or just with the fucking police stations in general or whatever. I don't really know how it works, if like the school is like paying that cop to be there, or if it's like the cop is being paid just from the police station to be there type of shit. But regardless, like when it comes to budget cuts in the school, like the SROs are some of the first ones to go, which is wild. Actually,
insanity,
which is crazy. And then even with the You remember how you were talking about with the concealed carry gun violence going up? Giving teachers guns is gonna cause gun violence to go up, my nigga.
Absolutely. Like
Right.
I mostly think about like I feel like the number of teachers. There's absolutely going to be a couple teachers that shoot a kid. Absolutely.
There's gonna be a lot of teachers.
Or what
But-
about a student getting into that gun too? Like that's what I thought about.
Right. That's my main concern. Is that again, just numbers wise, across the nation, there's gonna be kids that are gonna find their way to that gun. Like somewhere. There's gonna be kids that make their way to that gun and they're gonna use that shit in an irresponsible manner. So that's why I don't think it should be like that's my main thing.
What about this one? The school shooter already know it's a gun in the school that he can access. Like multiple guns that he can access. He probably gonna take some of them shit.
I mean,
Yeah. And on top of that, the school shooters taking all those tornado drills and shit too, so they know exactly where everybody lining up at.
Right.
I guess not tornado drill. They actually do active shooter drills. They do those in schools now. So the shooter is
like advocating against active shooter drills. Is that, like, what are you saying?
no,
I'm
he's
saying that the potential shooter is taking place in those drills as well, so they could coordinate their attack to make it more deadly.
And then one of the most racist states is passing that shit. Hell no. Like, y'all can have it. like literally one of the most racist states, bro. Like, I'm cool off that.
Yeah. Manny said Japan's one of the strictest to look it up for strictest gun laws, and that is correct. Japan is number 3 on the strictest countries list, and China is number 2, and Singapore is number 1. I would have never thought about Singapore, but there's your fun facts. Let's see, and they're just talking about like the percentages or whatever. But yeah, like I mean, like Chris is saying, I could kind of see maybe the thought process.
No, nigga.
Like, I could kind of see
No,
why
nigga.
or how they got there, but it doesn't make it make sense, right? Because, like, you know, at some point during these meetings where it's like one person's like, hey, we should do this, like, someone should be able to say, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this because it's stupid. So,
like, I think we had a conversation before, me, you, and Kenny, where we were talking about like mental health checks and like how we have to do a better job vetting of who gets a gun, right? And we had a whole discussion about that. And I don't think we ever reached an agreement there. And then here again, but like my thing is like one of the biggest problems that I have when it comes to I guess just politics in general is that there'll be like a big problem, but we end up just arguing about what the potential problems are to the solution, right? And again, giving teachers guns is not a good solution, but it's somebody trying to come up with a solution, right? I worry about the fact that we're just okay with mass shootings. Where we're trying to come up with a reason, like something to stop them, and in response, we're always coming up with a reason why we shouldn't resolve them. You know what I mean? Like it's like, nah, like it's gonna result in this, and that's a problem. Yeah, but we already have a big fucking problem, right? Like, I don't know.
I mean, but the same thing could be said, I guess, with that concealed carry. Some people could be like, well, that's gonna stop some shit, and then you're gonna be like, nah.
Right,
You know what I'm
that's my
saying?
whole argument. That's my whole argument. It's not stopping anything. Like, that's like the concealed carry thing is literally like there's only downside. There's no upside at all.
I think the teacher shit is only downside too. I don't think that shit is gonna cause any upside.
Let's pretend that. So, like, do you agree that mass shooters target schools because they're easy targets?
Of course, because a lot of predators gonna target anything that's gonna be easier. They're not gonna go to something that's stronger. That's weird.
That's upside.
No, because when you stop the mass shooters, right? I think let's say mass shooters kill 200 kids. a year. Let's just say I don't know the numbers.
Mhm.
I think giving teachers guns is probably gonna cause 200 kids to die too. So that's
Bro,
not no like.
it's speculation versus speculation. What I'm saying is that there is upside. Like I can't accurately predict. Neither of us can accurately predict what the numbers would be. Maybe mass shooters will still shoot up schools at the same rate, even if we put guns in there. We don't know, right? Because we can't go into the future. Or it might drastically drop. But what I'm saying is that there is a potential upside where mass shooters stop going into schools and shooting up innocent kids.
You
That's
doing
the
this?
upside.
You doing the same shit the Republicans doing because they're gonna say the same shit with the concealed carry. Literally, they literally gonna say the same shit.
What is the concealed? What's the upside to the concealed carry?
They probably gonna be like, it's gonna deter, like what Rook said, motherfuckers. I don't think there's no upside to giving teachers. I'm sorry, I don't think there's no upside, bro. Like, I think it's gonna cause the same amount of casualty, if not more. Because now, if it's 20 mass shooters, right? You got thousands of teachers with guns, and you know how we said the mental health check. A lot of these teachers is fucking sick. When I first came to fucking Denton John, what was the teacher that was fucking fondling little girls? Imagine now that weirdo got a gun. And he did it in multiple states. What was the nigga name? Like, soon as I got to Denton John, I remember the teacher, like, the news was outside and all that weird shit, like, that was going on, like, literally when I got to Denton John.
I didn't know that was a thing.
That was definitely a thing. Like, it was a big thing. Like,
So
now,
like what I'm saying is like, all right, so let's not talk about the guns. Like with global warming, for example, they're like, yo, we got to change our infrastructure. But if we change our infrastructure, this is gonna happen. What if the oil companies go out of business? What's China gonna do? They're not gonna stop. What about India? And it's like, okay, at the end, we just continue with the global warming problem. It's like, okay, so I guess we're not gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
no,
I guess
but
like, you feel me?
I guess that's different because with that I will agree with you. I'm just saying with this specific shit, no. Like that's all I was talking about. With that, that's wild because I've been in schools. I went to McNichol Middle School, Olsen Middle School. I've been to a lot of these teachers, especially in more fucked up areas. Them niggas, you talking about mental health check? They need mental health checks to become teachers, let alone have guns. They should have had because a lot of these niggas be unstable teaching kids.
That's because
And
it's
these
like the easiest state. Like Florida's one of the easiest states to
like,
become a teacher.
now get him a gun. Like that's all I was saying to that point. Like a lot of other points, a lot of people could come to concise agreements. They don't because you got to follow the money. A lot of people gonna want to agree with a certain side because the money is being lobbied a certain way. But with this one, I don't think that's the fact. A lot of these teachers are fucking unstable. Like a lot of them, bro. Go to New Beginnings tomorrow and talk to a lot of these teachers and now give them guns. Like
Maybe you just don't give the new beginning teachers guns.
You're 100% right, and I get what you're saying. But like what I'm saying is that like mass shootings are just a reality that we've accepted, and our kids are gonna have kids, and mass shootings are gonna continue to happen, and we're not gonna come up with anything. That's the point that I'm making. Like we're just gonna be like, I guess mass shootings are just. It's like when it rains. Like sometimes it rains, sometimes it's a mass shootings. It is what it is. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I hope by the time, I mean, I guess we already have people with kids that are in schools, so never mind. But I mean, I'm just saying, I hope there's this fucking solution at some point. I hope it's not as bleak as that. Like, we'll see. I guess only time will tell on that matter. But as it is, we're at time. As always, thank you all, especially in the chat. Thank you all for being out there. Shout out to Manny, Tammy, all y'all who chatted, asked questions, and collaborated with us in the recording. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if there's anything you guys want us to hit on. And other than that,
Don't be stealing no cats.
Yes, don't steal any cats. So we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.